All right, after the last couple weeks, me and Patrick have been going back and forth on Fort Collins versus Loveland. And after beating him up over the last week or so, it's time for us to bring it back together and talk about why we both love living here in northern Colorado. Now, we definitely have different perspectives, and that's probably the best part about it, is you're getting an idea from someone who enjoys maybe being with a bigger population versus someone like me who likes being in those smaller towns. And so hopefully we're gonna give you guys that best perspective. So we really like making these videos for you guys. We wanna keep sharing this information about northern Colorado, Fort Collins, Loveland, Windsor, and give you guys the best idea of what northern Colorado has to offer for you. If you guys can please like, subscribe, share these videos, that would be great. My name is Connor Martin. I work with Sukup Real Estate Services in Fort Collins, Colorado, and just can't wait to keep bringing this information to you guys each week so that I can keep sharing everything I know about this area.
Alrighty, so we are kind of wanting to talk to you really just about what our kind of favorite things of northern Colorado are, specifically to Fort Collins and Loveland. And even though on previous videos we talked about maybe a little bit difference or who's better or not, one of the things I think we both can agree on is time after time working with clients moving in from out of state, the thing that they continually want to move to northern Colorado for is the outdoor lifestyle.
Yep.
I mean, whether that's mountain biking, rafting, swimming, hiking, climbing, whatever it is, really people are moving here for that slower paced outdoor lifestyle.
Yep, exactly. No, and that's the thing. And northern Colorado has everything you could really ask for, and it's in all different locations. So again, up in Loveland, you have Estes Park, where you're gonna have that more structured adventure lifestyle where they're gonna have activities like horseback riding, having places to go hiking. You got Rocky Mountain National Park. In town in Loveland, we have some really amazing mountain bike tracks like Devil's Backbone and Coyote Ridge. And then also, if you start looking out east, you have other places like Piney Butte's Grassland. If you're a big dirt bike or ATV rider, or you like shooting guns, that's another great place to go and be. And so northern Colorado really encompasses all the different activities you could possibly ask for within a pretty dang close area. I mean, you can get to where you really want to go if it's shooting or mountain biking or rock climbing. It's maximum probably 40 minutes would be, I'd say you can get somewhere pretty easily. So to me, that's pretty close. When I lived up in Bozeman, Montana, I was a little luckier. It was probably like a 10-minute drive to places like that. But this by far is the best place because one, it's not 7 months of winter, so you actually get to enjoy the summer a little bit more up here. And so if you're looking for that kind of lifestyle where you get those summer activities, this might be a better place than some of those other places on the western slopes of Colorado or being further out on the southern east side of Colorado.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, I'm trying to convince my in-laws to move out here to Fort Collins, and they're concerned about the seasons here. And don't get me wrong, like, we're going to have snow. We do have hail in like the July, August time periods. Fall is by far my favorite season here in Fort Collins. And even when the winters come and we get hit with snow, it seems like the next day, or at least that within the same week, it's gone.
Yep.
We've got the sun, we're closer to the sun being as high up as we are, and so it melts off the sidewalks and asphalts really quickly. And we have the infrastructure. I was talking to a person that was coming out of Houston, and they were talking to me about when they got hit with, or maybe it was Austin, when they got hit with a snowstorm, they just didn't have the infrastructure to take care of it. Well, we have great snow crews, so it'll remove it from the sidewalks, remove it from the streets, and then the sun's gonna hit it, and there's not gonna be much ice. So, those outdoor activities, you can see 60-degree days in November and February, maybe 50s in December and January, but you can get out, play golf,
yep.
Go hiking, you can ride. A lot of people's like rule of thumb here, if you're a cyclist, is above 40 degrees, and
yep.
you're gonna get a lot of that. So I mean, definitely Fort Collins has the 4 seasons to offer. You're not gonna be too hot or humid like you are in the southeast, or frozen tundra up in the Bozeman or yep. Alaska.
No, that's exactly it. Me being able to move around quite a bit when I was younger and when I was in my college years, I got to experience quite a bit of different areas. Kansas, muggy, hot, 100% humidity, miserable. Not a place I'd ever recommend you to go unless you want, a 5,000 square foot home for $300,000 on a golf course. That would be the place to go. Montana, if you're okay with winters and skiing and snowmobiling is your big thing, Montana is a great place to be, you know, but you're gonna really sacrifice your summer activities, because even when I was playing sports up there in the August, we would have 10 inches of snow playing soccer some days. And so for me, Colorado is a great location, especially being a poor college student. I was able to use my motorcycle almost year round completely and skip the $500 a year charge up at CSU for parking. And so even though it might have been maybe 20 degrees out some days, we really never got snow. And just like you said, it might snow or sprinkle, but by the time I was done with school, snow was gone. I was able to go home without an issue. You know, and when we do get those somewhat bigger snowstorms, we have the crews, we have the infrastructure that does get rid of it. And unlike Texas, where, you know, they had that big freeze this year, all of our lines, all of our stuff are put in the ground right now, or at least for the majority of Fort Collins and Loveland. So you're rarely going to lose power. The worst thing you're going to lose is your Netflix. So for me, you know, that's a pretty good win versus having your pipes burst in your house because you forgot to turn off your main line. So
no, seriously. And I think that's one thing that you definitely bring that I don't. You know, I born and raised here in Fort Collins. I spent 9 months living in Loveland when I brought my first house before I had to move back to Fort Collins because everything I knew was here.
Yep.
But that's definitely one thing that I don't have. When these people come from out of state and they ask me, well, how's the crime? I'm like, well, what crime? And like, I don't understand that not everywhere doesn't have as much crime as we do. And that's one thing that I think that you can definitely bring your clients, your people that are coming in from out of state, your experience in Kansas, Montana, Southern Colorado, that really I don't have. I just know Fort Collins.
Yep, and I can definitely tell you from every place I've lived, Colorado is by far the best place. I mean, every time I've ever moved, we've always moved back to Colorado before we moved to another place. And so, you know, even living up in like Connecticut, you know, it's a tremendous difference being out here and being in this area. And the people out here are truly amazing. You know, everybody's super friendly. Like you said, there's not that much crime up in this area. You know, when I lived in Kansas, I lived up near Leavenworth Penitentiary, and so and I worked on a golf course all the time. We had felons that escaped from Leavenworth and actually would be we had someone come through and take 2 of our neighbors in their car and stole their car with them in it, and were driving around for hours on the golf course escaping the law. You know, it's just things like that I sit there and say, that hasn't happened to me yet in Colorado, so I don't know if that was just a weird place I lived in.
Maybe a one-off situation, but still.
It's just those things.
One time's enough.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I can understand where hopefully my desire, I'm gonna be able to hopefully live here the rest of my life to where I'm not gonna have to go deal with figuring out where the heck that next place is and what the heck are the flaws. Because right now, there ain't too many flaws up here in Colorado. Yeah,
it's definitely interesting, especially talking with the older generation that is from here in Fort Collins. My family moved here in the 60s, and I definitely have some uncles and older relatives that don't like how much Fort Collins has grown, but I think we're doing a really good job of maintaining the small town feel while providing the amenities that are, you know, desired. We're still local, safe, a lot of local options. We do have the big box stores, we do have the big, you know, chain food restaurants, all that kind of stuff, but I think Fort Collins, for most of it, has done a really good job of maintaining its identity.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, there's always going to be people who aren't happy with, you know, the increased diversity, which I get, you know, ringed about, or, you know, the increased population. But I think ultimately, if people come here with the right mentality and right, like, mindset, I think it's good stuff. I think people bring in different, you know, business opportunities, backgrounds, cultures, all that kind of stuff. It helps us grow as a population. No, exactly. We're not filled with a bunch of Karens and Kens out there, so it makes it pretty dang nice. There's a few. There's some that come here and there that definitely make you consider things. But I don't know. For all intents and purposes, I think Loveland's a phenomenal place, and it was super cool. If you guys haven't watched the video already about the pros and cons, we talked about different things, and different perspectives bring a lot of different viewpoints. So like, his thought on the city layout of Loveland was completely different than mine. And yeah, so if you haven't watched that video, it's pretty solid, and ultimately I think we can both agree that when it gets down to it, we love living in Northern Colorado, and I don't necessarily see myself moving anywhere anytime soon, and it doesn't sound like you do either, so that's pretty sweet.
No, exactly. I can't find any better place. It's kind of like trying to search for that next better job. You know, the grass is always greener on the other side, and I've learned that plenty of times by now, and so I'm hoping to finally make my career here and be able to make my stand and make my reputation, and so that's kind of where I'm at. I never got that opportunity like Patrick did, being able to live in a place his whole life. I've always had changing friends. I've always had people that come in and out of my life very quickly. I moved every 3 to 5 years, and so for me, it's finally time for me to settle down and figure out what the heck I'm going to do with my life. So that's the best part, and I think Loveland and Fort Collins is going to give me the best opportunity I possibly can.
Love it, man. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Patrick Sugup with Sugup Real Estate Services. This is Connor Martin with Loveland Lifestyles. And as much as we like making these real estate videos for YouTube, we like more working with buyers, sellers, investors for all your real estate needs. So give me a call, text, email, whatever it is. I've got your back when it comes to moving to Northern Colorado and Fort Collins. Until next time, guys,